So we'll be able to see people commenting, right?
Comments, yeah.
Okay.
So we're live now. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's Dapra Black Woman again. And thank you for tuning in tonight. So you already know what we're doing tonight. We're going to be chit-chatting about the Meghan and Harry situation. And I have with me the amiable Canada Ranger. What's going on?
Can
So
you come say hi? It's her birthday today. Say hi, then you leave.
Hi.
Yeah,
hi,
this is the
I'm
happy
birthday
gonna be
girl.
staying
birthday.
with her in the whole true
You can't stay with me in the
conversation.
whole conversation. I'm sorry.
Sorry, but that's the thing. Hey there. Hello. Did you know we were having a guest stay for the whole team? Yeah. So you have to
Oh,
say yes.
cool.
Yeah, mommy actually said that. So we're having a guest stay.
Okay, so please,
Today
it's a live stream. I beg of you guys.
they said yes. You can't cross the nose. If you cross the nose,
Okay,
I'll go off by
wait.
myself.
The video, but it's about me talking about the shocking bombshell that we heard from Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah. And I personally wasn't shocked by what I heard because a lot of people were like, oh, it's a lie. They're shocked. They don't believe what is going on. And the royals can be that bad and all of that. So what do you think? Like, what's your take on it? Do you think it is what she's saying is the truth? Do you think she amplified the truth, or do you think it's just blatant lie?
Okay, so I have been, I call myself a royal watcher. So I've been watching the royal family for more than 10 years.
Nice.
Getting into this part of the world, I was able to get more materials from YouTube. I can remember when I was young,
Because they have to
during
leave
Chogom,
by.
that's the Commonwealth, there's this Commonwealth thing they do. Different nations host it. I remember then Nigeria hosted Chogom, and the Queen came to a school beside my school then in Lagos. They were to open, I think it was a medical center or something,
Oh,
and
nice.
there were protocols to the T. I knew the roads were blocked, just like when a president is coming, but they had so many protocols, like quite different from the Nigerian protocol style of things. Then I knew that the royal family, they would have so many rules. I was very young then, but I could sense that there was something going on. Then on TV as well, when you watch them, you hear situations like when the queen is the last person to arrive. Then I delved further. I heard she's the only one that doesn't use a passport. She goes everywhere. Then from there, I started hearing things like the institution, the firm. They had protocols. Like then watching their history through documentaries, the present queen's uncle abdicated the throne because of a woman, an American divorcee. So when
Oh,
Harry got married to Meghan, the royal, like all the press release was like, oh, this is a replay of what happened with Harry's great grand uncle that was
I
Prince
really didn't
Edward.
even know that story.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I've
like
never
I
heard
said,
that.
I've been watching the royal family for over 10 years. So Harry is not the first person to marry a divorcee. The present queen's second daughter, Princess Han, also got married. She divorced. Almost all the only child that has not gotten divorced is Prince, I think Prince Edward, the last child of the queen. So all the queen's kids, they're all divorcees. So when Harry got married to Meghan, the press blew it up, and it was simply because she was an American and she was a divorcee. And because of what happened in, I think it was in 1930 something or 40 something, no, 30 something thereabout, when the grand uncle abdicated because of an American divorcee. The name of the woman was Wallis Simpson. So basically, he was supposed to be the king, but
Oh,
the institution told him that he could not get married to the lady because then they frown at divorce. Once you're divorced, you're not qualified to. So, because she'll be the next queen of England. So basically, she doesn't fit the status quo. So
yeah.
the institution told him, the only option you have is to decline and
Oops.
abdicate. You can't take the throne. So he had to abdicate, and the present queen's dad became the king. So that was
Oh,
really what happened. So the press blew it up because Harry had been regarded as the black sheep of the family because they felt like he was the feelings he had were too soft. Harry had Harry made the press. I can remember when the mom died. Growing up, he went through a lot of emotional trauma. I couldn't have imagined what he, like, they were so close to their mom. So he kind of like mourned the death of the mom in his own way. And he had series of relationships which did not lead to marriage. And I remember one of the documentaries I watched, the last girlfriend, when they were about to get engaged, I think she declined, saying she's not ready for the issues that would come with marrying someone in the royal family. And that's the press attention. Oh my God, these people don't have a life. They get bombarded by the press from the airport.
And that's one of the huge things about it, because I believe that the royal family, they must have something they're gaining from that as well, because they have the power to shut down the press when it comes to such matters. But a lot of times, as we've seen with Princess Diana and also now with Meghan, they just keep quiet. They don't say anything. They don't say, okay, this is not true. They don't say if it's true. They just keep quiet. According to one of the news channel I was watching, when they were talking about it, they said that usually they don't complain and they don't explain. That's usually the rule of the Buckingham Palace. So you give the press so much power, and they just spread rumors and lies and all of that, and you don't say anything. So at the end of the day, it is not the institution that suffers; is whoever is that subject of that news. And that's what they couldn't take at that moment. And I think it made a really big difference it would have made a big difference if they had said something. But
yes, it would have made, and that's from the topic of today, systematic racism in the monarchy. So what happens is there's some press coverage they can't even protect the members of the royal family, like the Buckingham Palace press, the department. There are some news that they would inform them, trying to seek a view. We're going to put this up in the press tomorrow. Do you guys have any comments?
Yeah.
And I know during Princess Diana and Prince Charles, the separation and all the Camilla scandal, there were so many things. Both parties had access to the press, and basically they were just putting out whatever they know would hurt the other party. So the press had always had a free fall in their lives. So I wasn't shocked. I knew it. Once Meghan and Harry were dating in Toronto. They had series of dates. I can remember then I was at Union Station, and Harry's convoy was it was at the Royal Fairmont Hotel, and I could see a lot of people on the road, and I was like, what was happening? I knew they had this Invictus Games going on in Toronto. I know Meghan was shooting the series Suits in downtown as well.
They met.
I think that was where they met.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Prince Harry is coming. And I was like, oh wow, Prince Harry is coming. If it was Prince Charles or the Queen, look at this convoy. I was really, really I was really curious about what was going on. So, but another interesting fact. Do you know what? Can you just give me some few minutes? I have a situation here. Can you see I'm blocking the door? Just let me deal with them.
Okay, all right. So so I don't know, what do you think? Because after watching all the news and what people have been saying, I feel like people are being insensitive, because especially with the issue of her wanting to commit suicide. So we have to understand that there's so many people, sometimes mental health don't show on your face. Like, you can't tell by people's appearance if they are suffering from mental health issues or not. So people, for example, when I was watching Morgan Pierce going on and on about how there's pandemic in the world, and all they can talk about is bringing down the name of the Queen and also complaining about their life and all of that. But the truth is, what does pandemic has to do with it? I feel like that's being racist, because that's exactly what they've been complaining about. Why do we have to keep quiet just because you don't agree with what we're saying? There's so many, you can agree to disagree, and sometimes you can listen to people. It doesn't mean you agree with them. Just listen to their point of view. Don't just attack them. So I felt really, really, it was so hard for me to watch, especially when other people started dishing it out back to him. And in a very subtle manner, he couldn't take it. He walked out of the studio, and I was like, wow, this is this is really ridiculous. Like, why would he do that? And I was watching another person who is also a person of color, a black person, that said Meghan is just narcissist. She just wants to take advantage. And I'm thinking, why would she want to do that? Because if you've watched the video I posted on Friday, I made some points. Why would anybody want to quit the royal home, the royal family, if it is all rosy, if it is all good and nice? And imagine all they had to go through, the bad press, the returning of the money getting cut off, because according to Prince Harry, it got cut off in I think since the first quarter of 2020. So why would you want to do that when you can enjoy? So there must have been something. There must be something that was so hard, that was unbearable for them, that they had to leave. So what are your thoughts? What do you think? Leave your comment in the comment section if you think otherwise, or if you think they're just being hypersensitive. Because at the end of the day, as we've seen since the death of George Floyd, it's a really big issue that we need to actually tackle, no matter what it is. I don't say you should harass people just because an allegation was made, but take it seriously and investigate. Don't shut it down right there and then and call people liars and call people narcissists, because you weren't there. You don't know what the real truth is. And a lot of times when you're looking at the royal family, I don't know what actually happened. So I can't say whether they're racist or they're not. But at the same time, I cannot totally say whatever Meghan said and Harry said was a lie, because at the end of the day, Harry is from the royal home. He wouldn't let his wife bring down the name of his family that he worked so hard to build, that his mom worked so hard to build. And after what happened to his mom, he wouldn't just let his wife just lie and say just anything. So it doesn't make sense to me. So I think Miriam, our guest, is back online. Hi,
Yes,
Miriam.
thank you so
I
much.
was
I'm
just
back.
going on a little bit about what I think about how about racism, and how people should not just shut down people. Like, if you come forward to say I've suffered some kind of racism, you should listen
Yeah.
and try to investigate, because these are like really huge issues, and sometimes it takes it takes confidence or courage for somebody to come out and say that, and against a very huge family like that. So Morgan Pierce just shutting it down, and then when his colleagues were trying to talk sense into him, he just storming out of the place and resigning didn't make sense to me. I felt like that was really racially charged. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. So, but as you can see, I think they tried to hack the institution for help. It was when they realized that no help is not coming anywhere. If you can recollect, during the interview with Oprah, Meghan said, "I thought they would protect me." She made that statement countless times. I thought they would protect me. And I'm pretty sure Ari gave her reassurance as well, because Meghan can't say she did not. I'm pretty sure she investigated about the family when she was about to accept Ari's proposal. She can't just say she doesn't know.
she said
She didn't. No, that's the only place I have that I'm quite a little bit, because there was a throwback picture of Meghan in front of Buckingham Palace when she was a teenager. Of course, I don't think anyone in this world doesn't know who Queen Elizabeth is.
She said she never Googled him, because she just assumed that the royal, every girl's dream of what a princess would be like, or what the royal family would be like. So she never knew she was going to get that much backlash. And she was talking about how Harry wanted her to go meet the Queen, and she was like, "Oh, why not? I love my grandma, so why not?" And he was like, "Do you know how to courtesy?" And she was like, "Courtesy?" So he had to kind of prepare on how to courtesy. You can't just walk into the Queen's house and just hug the Queen. You have to know how to bow and all of that and kneel. Yep. So I don't know about that part, but everybody has their own opinion about that. But I also have an issue with her saying she never
deeper. She wouldn't. How would you accept to marry someone for? Just imagine me and you meeting Prince Harry. Just imagine. We won't Google what.
I know. That part was, I see your point.
We're Africans. I want our parents ask us, who is this person? The royal family of England is the oldest royal monarchy that still survives till today.
Yeah.
If people are not even interested in the monarch, they know who Queen Elizabeth is. Here in Canada, we know the Canadian passport is issued in the name of the Queen of. She's the Queen of Canada. She's on the currency.
Even
the same thing Australia as well, and
Mhm.
New Zealand, and some other Commonwealth countries.
Yeah.
So that's the only issue that I do not understand with Meghan saying she didn't Google
You
Ari.
didn't Google. Yeah, I
And
felt
I
way
expect
I felt
no,
some
I
kind of
can't
way
believe
about
that.
that too.
She won't Google. Even if she doesn't
Because
Google,
it's on you.
she has circle of friends who
It's
would
on
have told
you
her,
if
"Oh
you
my
do.
God, you've landed on a gold mine. Do you know who he is?" How does she mean she
Yeah.
won't Google Ari? Then Princess Diana is one of the most celebrated public figures in the world till date. There's Netflix still made there's a film about Princess Diana on Netflix that was released in March. After how many years of after how many years that she died, her story is still relevant.
Yeah, since 97, I think.
Yes. So Megan can't say that's the only issue I had, that she did not. Well, everyone knew, even people that were young that didn't know about Princess Diana. Till date, people are going online to check to learn more about her. Like I said, I was very young too when um she got married in the 80s. I didn't really know much about her story. Then growing up, what was YouTube in Nigeria then? But when
Yeah,
I
I
got to
think she
this
was
part of
like
the world,
18 years old when she got married.
yes, she died at the age of 36. That was maybe in 94, 95. But I know I remember watching because I think NTA or one of those TV Silverbed or so, they televised part of her burial. It was all over the news. And I
Yeah,
was
I
really curious
remember
that
watching it.
who died that everybody's crying. The queen didn't die. This like what's so special about this princess? That was the first time I had an encounter, and I was like, you know what? Whenever I travel, I will try to get more information. I know, and to surprisingly, England was the first place when I like leaving Nigeria for the first time. It was to London. I got to London from the airport. I knew that yes, this place is special. So I was seeing royal this, royal that. Saw the pounds. Oh, the queen is on
Mhm.
the currency. She's the queen of England. I took a tour around London. I went to Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square, where there's this place. It's called Monument. I was seeing a lot of images of
Parliament Square,
different
is it not?
the Parliament
What?
Square, yeah, Royal Albert Hall, everything had royal history. So I could sense that yes, there's a family in this country, and this family is very powerful. They are the monarchs. So and Meghan has been to England, so she can't say she did not know how powerful that family is. She might
Yeah,
not know the politics that surrounds their day-to-day life, yes, but
yeah,
she can't say she didn't Google Ari. How can
yeah,
you date someone and accept to marry someone and say you don't know? Harry was one of the most sought after bachelors then when the brother got married.
yeah.
Harry had sufficient press attention, even in the US, because there are some tabloids in the US that they carry the royal news steady, like they are always reporting on it. Harry had issues with someone in the nightclub in Vegas. He had a fight, they covered it. He was holding a Nazi flag, they covered it.
Mm-hmm.
So Megan can't say, but let's leave that aside. We're talking of mental health here.
Yeah,
So if anyone has been following the royal family,
yeah.
they have this. If you were born into it, most of their wives, they don't. If you look at the history of all the wives, they've all had issues. Kate is the only one I think she's having it good right now. I'm just praying everything goes
We don't
smoothly
know
for
what
her.
she's hiding too.
Thank you.
We don't know what she's hiding.
We don't know what she's hiding, but if you look at the history, Princess Diana, Sarah Ferguson, that's the Duchess of York, the ex-wife of
Yeah,
Prince Andrew, they all, you know what they do? Basically, they marry these ladies and allow them to be eaten by the press.
yeah.
So if you watch Princess Diana's interview, Sarah Ferguson's interview, they don't get any training or whatsoever of what they're getting into. See, there's an interview on YouTube. I don't know if people have interest. Princess Diana a night before the wedding, she wanted to back out. She told her
Wow.
sister that I'm no longer comfortable, because then she already knew Camilla was in the picture. She saw
Mm.
there was some cufflinks she saw that had C and C, Charles and Camilla, and she told her sister, said, I don't think I can go on with this wedding. But you know what the sister told her? He said, I'm sorry, honey, you have to. Your face is all over the teacup and all the souvenirs in the whole of England. You can't back out now. People have been buying teacups, towels, celebrating your union.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe she felt, okay, you know what? I'll go along with the wedding. Maybe Charles would change.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Charles did not change. So the same thing, history repeated itself with Meghan.
Yeah, and I think that's what Harry feared, because they were saying that this is going to come tumbling down really fast. And he has said in other interviews before this even occurred how he suffered from mental issues himself, like about the death of his mom and all of that. And then he said he could see that exactly happening with his wife and his family. And he was like, you know what? I feel like I'm trapped in this system, and I think I need to get out so that I can still have my family. And that's the truth. And Meghan also said something about her feeling scared to actually say what she was feeling to her husband, because she knows it's going to be hard on him. But at the same time, is her mental health in question here? If she doesn't say anything, then she might end up actually dying, and then it's going to be a whole lot of mess for the husband as well. So at the end of the day, I don't know why people still take people's mental health trivially. It doesn't make any sense.
And you know what? The joke is on them, the family. You know why? Do you know they do a lot of press? You know they go out to launch so many things. Even William and Kate are doing something about mental health, that they are patrons of some charity that helps with mental health. You see them everywhere talking about mental health. Are they practicing what they are preaching? So I knew, you know, one of the most painful thing about that interview was when they mentioned the boy, their son, Archie, that they were concerned about his skin tone. So let me tell you something. During Meghan's wedding was on a Saturday. I knew that then when at work, we had some of us that we were like we had interest in the royal family. We're doing countdown for Harry and Meghan's wedding. I know a lot of press attention was on Canada, because you know Canada was one of the places that was mentioned that they met.
Meghan was Canadian.
Yes. Canadians. I know a lot of Canadians that had watch parties for the wedding, that they had tea parties and all that, celebrating the union. And I said something. I said, fine, she's the first Black mixed bride to come into the royal family.
There's even 25%, as I gather, because before seeing her, I wouldn't have known she was Black at all. I just thought she was like a white person that was a little tan.
Okay. Yeah. So can you imagine when we got the announcement that it was Meghan, people started watching Suits. I knew Netflix recorded a lot of views that month when the engagement was announced, because everybody wanted to get to know her. That who is this lady that was able to catch the attention of Harry? Harry was a playboy prince because no one knew he was going to settle down quickly.
And the wedding was like really quick.
Like it was about town.
The engagement was quick.
Yeah, but on that wedding day, you know, before the wedding there was drama. Meghan's side of the family showing different interviews, the fallout with her dad. Before we heard that her dad is not coming to take her, gonna walk her down the aisle. So Meghan had a lot of drama coming. So I felt so sorry for her. You know, when I saw Prince Charles leading her towards the altar, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic that this family has embraced her fully. Like they all went out to support her. Not knowing that the things that were to come. And you know, the press, the British press are one of the most brutal press in the world. I can guarantee you. They go all out. Meghan was getting Duchess pushy, Duchess. Then when she was pregnant, they were like, she's hugging the baby bump too much. Started comparing her.
I know. What's I feel like 80% of pregnant women hold their bump.
They cradle their bump.
I couldn't believe my ears when I saw like what do you mean by that?
It's see, one of the most interesting facts is Kate was also cradling her bump. Kate was giving so much press attention because she had morning sickness. They were kind of soft on her. But you know, she also had her issues as well.
But she was always the lady that went in to give birth and came out a few hours after.
They have to. I know the British press. They have two sides. There's the side that supports the royal family, then the other side, like Daily Mail. Daily Mail is one of the most brutal newspapers that I've ever. Even there, when I was in London, whenever Daily Mail comes out, people usually rush for it because they like covering scandals. Then we have the Evening Standard as well. There are some newspapers that try to be a little bit tender. They don't really want to go all out. But once other, because it's all about the profits. The press that would carry the most scandal will get the most adverts. People want to advertise on it because they know a lot of people will buy it. So at a point, I'm going to go back to Diana's era. At a point, it was just a free fall market. They just wanted to, if Diana was coughing, they want to cover it. So to make the news, to make sale. So
and that's why
Meghan as well was used for marketing. Because if Meghan is in the news,
she said that the tabloids, they don't report the news, they create the news. That's what she said.
They create.
Yes. She said because most of the information that leaked while before, a week before, that they've had those information like weeks before, but they waited up until the wedding so that they can arouse all that noise so it can be to their favor. So they create.
And did you hear how much some of these newspapers were paying Meghan's step siblings to come and interview? Even they paid her dad,
I think,
to do a press call with them before the wedding. And this was a man that said he just had an heart surgery. And he was still in the hospital. So how can someone have an heart surgery and they saw him buying clothes in the mall? So that was even where the deception started. So, but Meghan was used for marketing by the British press. Oh God, Harry was like they covered Harry very well during his bachelor days. But when he got married to Meghan, Harry was no longer making the news. Meghan was the one making the news. Then they started this press war between Meghan and Kate. There are times I go into Walmart, I'll see Meghan versus Kate on all this British tabloids that they sell at Walmart, and I'm like, really? I just watched a news about them. These people are not fighting. Why are the press reporting all this silly fake news? Is it just to sell?
She was kind of upset about that too, because remember when they reported that she made Kate cry, and she said that was
the other way around.
Lie. It was the other way around, but they didn't do anything to cover it up. They just left it be. And it's crazy because in those situations, at least you think like Kate would be able to say something like that's a lie, but all she did was bring flowers to her in the house, like, oh, I'm sorry. That's not enough. You know how these things work. But at the end of the day, the institution might have said, don't say anything. So I can't blame Kate because I don't know her side of the story as well. Maybe she might have wanted to say something, and then the institution said,
no, because before anybody, when you get married into the royal family, the rule is you don't talk about politics. You don't involve yourself in any political statements. You don't make political statements. Then whatever they're saying to the press, they have, they call them, it's so funny. Let me tell you how many staffs they have. There's lady in waiting. There's the chief dresser. There's chief press officer. So between Meghan and Kate and William, they will have like 30 staffs. They will have their own press department. So whatever statements, there's somebody handling their Instagram page, there's someone handling their Twitter. So they have, those are the institution. Then they have the chief press officer that have to run it by Buckingham Palace press officers. The ones in Buckingham Palace are the headquarters. So whatever is going out into the press. So I'm pretty sure Kate might have wanted to say something to debunk the rumor, but the press corps wouldn't. Definitely the press corps institution. And they will say it's not good for the monarchy because Kate, when we look at the hierarchy of seniority, Kate is more senior than Meghan.
Yeah.
And Meghan's Hollywood history too is a problem for the British press.
But what I'm concerned about is how did they know what happens in the innermost part of the house? If somebody's crying, how did the press get a wind of that?
So they leak. There's always there's always someone leaking.
So that's where it comes. Like,
yes, it comes from within the institution. Yeah, they leak stories.
Did they know that I was crying?
If you watch The Crown on Netflix, you will know how the machinery of the press, the royal press, how they work. There are times they leak stories to the press to favor or to debunk some rumors. They do that a lot, and that's why every December they host the press corps in Buckingham Palace for Christmas dinners. And that's, Meghan mentioning that how can you be whining and dining with the same people that go all out? to destroy our reputation. She doesn't really understand, and it's been done. The dinner has been ongoing for years.
Mm-hmm.
So
And do
my
you
only
think,
take, yeah.
yeah, you can continue, then
So
I'll
my
just
own take is, even Ari, I guess Meghan had to come into that family for Ari to realize himself and take control. Because at a
yeah.
point, whenever I see Ari on TV, I feel like he's choked. I just always had that feeling that this guy doesn't really, he's not the typical strict. Ari will go on behalf of the Queen to do some Commonwealth tours. You see him dancing. He's very free. You remember the race he had with Usain Bolt? That he had a race. I think he went to Jamaica to represent the Queen for a Commonwealth outing. Ari is like Diana, is very free,
Yeah,
extremely
very.
free. So
Mm-hmm.
there are times I see him, I feel like he's choked. You think William would have married a mixed race?
I
Never.
don't
I
think
doubt it.
so. I think William is more like his dad, like Prince
William,
Charles.
from childhood, has been, they've told him you're the next king after your dad. So the
And
upbringing for William is quite different from Harry.
the thing with
Yeah, so it's quite different.
the thing with royalty is that there's a huge expectation from the first son, and then the second son is a little bit more free. So
Thank
I
you.
think that's
No,
what. So
if you want,
you've been grown
yeah,
from when you were little all the way till
thank
like
you.
you're going to be this. So you have to portray yourself in that light. So the second son or
Yeah,
other sons are always like a little bit more free.
always like that. And that was the story of the present Queen with her sister as well. Her dad died quite young. She became the Queen in her 20s. And
Mm-hmm.
when she got back to England, she was in Kenya when her dad died. One of the historical documentaries I watched, they had to tell her younger sister that your sister is no longer the sister you play with. She's now the Queen of England. So you have to courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
It's only her mom that doesn't courtesy to her. So once she got back to England and became the Queen, so you can imagine, you siblings that you've been very close, you play a lot. They will now tell you that your sister is now the Queen. So the saying is, she's the Queen before any other thing. So she's
Yeah.
the Queen before she's a sister or a mother. And
that's the thing. They put duty first. And
beauty
that's one of
first.
the problems
That's it.
that they
That is
have.
it. Beauty
So
first. And
I was
that is what
listening
they
to,
have against Harry. That Harry
yeah.
neglected his duty.
I don't blame him, because at the end of the day, as I said in one of my videos, family should always be first, because those children, they need a parent. So just because you're the queen or you're the king or you're the prince, doesn't, like, your kids, they have blood flowing through their vein. They still need a father. They still need that love. So if you're just like, oh, duty first, the kids are going to suffer. Before now, nobody said anything. But I feel, do
Thank
you
you.
think, the question I was going to ask earlier, do you think it was a bit more difficult for Meghan to swallow because she's American? She's not used to the British ways. Because I feel like if she's British, she would have known a lot more and would be a little bit more prepared than somebody that's been free all her life. She has been an independent woman. She's been an American. And then coming into this place where you have to, if you want to go pee, you have to ask permission. And then if they tell you no, that's it. You can't do anything about it. So do you think it was like a little bit more difficult because she's American?
Okay, so yes, definitely the cultural thing was it was a problem. The cultural difference, yes, because if you grew up in England, except your even the deaf they know. Like I said, once you step into London, there's a family in control of that country. So so I'm going to compare now Kate's upbringing with Meghan's upbringing, because there's a documentary about Meghan's childhood as well. It's on YouTube. So Meghan grew up in the US. Yes, she's an American citizen. She wouldn't have had that privilege to be able to study, because in America things are different. Everybody's independent. Like literally, you have to get yourself together, get on your feet, and she did quite well for herself. I always had that feeling that if she had not married Harry, she would have definitely. She was an ambassador for United Nations. There's this women campaign thing that she does with them, and everything had to stop because she got married into the royal family. Like she couldn't be associated with any major organization that usually speaks out about things, ills in the society. So Meghan's upbringing would definitely had an impact. Like I said, that family, the people. Oh my God! Do you know? I don't know if you remember. There was an incident. Meghan, there was a Christmas dinner she was supposed to attend. That was immediately after, maybe the first or second Christmas dinner after their wedding. One of the royal family, one of the duke's wife or something, wore a brooch that had something to do with slavery.
Hmm.
How can you wear something like that? And you know the press, and you know the press, the British press zoomed on her jacket and covered that brooch. And you know, the next day they were like, that brooch was symbolic because it felt like an insult. As she knew Meghan was at the dinner, it was showing that some of them have not accepted her.
And that's why I'm wondering why people are doubting that the British, the royal family, are systemically racist. I don't understand why they are doubting, because let's talk a little bit about the question of when they were concerned about how dark the color of the child, the skin tone of the child would be. And I know that Harry was he said he would never mention it, but two things he was going to talk about. He was going to say, he said it was not his grandmother, which is the Queen, and it was not his grandfather. So
yeah,
there's an undertone to it. Is it right to say it was his dad, Prince Charles, or it was his brother, Prince Williams? Because who has the effrontery to just come walk up to him? And they said the conversation happened several times to say, oh, well, the child is not going to, and then said something about the child is not going to have a royal title, and not going to have security. So how, like, who has that effrontery if not somebody so close and above Harry?
It's definitely a senior. So I'll talk more about that title. Let me start with the title, because there's a law. There's a Royal Act of 18 something something or 18 something. So it is when Prince Charles becomes the king. So if anyone is not in direct line to the throne. So right now, according to that law, it's only William's kids that have the right to bear titles, because they are great grandchild of a monarch already on the throne. So for Archie, it will be when Prince Charles gets on the throne before he can get that title. So there's a law for that. So I guess, and
so
people
why I wasn't.
That is what I'm wondering. Why didn't they explain it better to both couples? Let's assume they didn't know. But what was so funny was the way it was released in the press, as if the parents did not want that title. They should have even been honest that Archie can't get that title because he is not in direct succession to the throne, meaning his dad is not in line to the throne. William's kids are first in line to the throne, because after William, the next king in waiting is Prince George. That's his first son. So Harry's kids are, all William's kids supersede Harry before he gets to Archie. Then the issue of the security, I don't get it. Harry has security. So whatever security Harry gets should cover his family. But the rule is, if you're not a working royal, you don't get all the benefits. Remember when Diana got divorced with Prince Charles, her title was stripped and her security was taken away from her. And he had till to date, I felt like it was one of the things that led to that untimely death, because then the press had access. Diana had to be hiring private securities and all to go with her for some major events. So, and then the skin tone, that part is still, I'm still confused.
Yeah.
Because right now we won't know we don't know who made that statement, and we shouldn't assume. And the other side, they're not really saying anything. Right? Yeah, they're not really saying anything, because I want to assume that England, the Queen is the head of Commonwealth. We both come from Commonwealth countries. This is how we look like. And she's so passionate about the Commonwealth. If you go down in history, she made a speech that she's going to commit her whole life to the strength of the Commonwealth. They just celebrated a virtual Commonwealth Day recently, that all the different Commonwealth countries came to perform virtually. They were making speeches. So if you guys are saying you support the Commonwealth, you're in love with the Commonwealth, do you hear that some countries are saying they might pull out of the Commonwealth? Because it's hypocrisy.
Yeah, because
How
the
can you
thing
say
is
you love the Commonwealth?
with
Then you're now
systemic
concerned about
racism,
yes,
it's
that's
easier for
systematic.
you to
Yes,
support so far it doesn't come into your
support from
family.
afar. But when
Yeah,
it happens to you, see their reaction. So
yeah.
to me, I'm like, they're not practicing what they're preaching.
I bet they never thought that would ever happen because it's like an
But
unspoken rule. You have to marry somebody that is a royal or somebody that at least the background is in the UK and white because
yeah,
so you would have thought. So I guess I don't really know what to say, but I feel like according to what Harry said, he's always had security, even when he was little. So why won't Archie have security? So I can understand why they're thinking it's because of racism, because they must have had a lot of conversations leading up to that. So if that now happens, because they're only telling us bits and pieces, and then I'm sure they have edited a whole lot of the interview. We're just hearing the 1 hour interview, right? Or how
yeah.
many minutes of interview. So at the end of the day, we don't know, we weren't there. But for them to actually feel that was racially charged, there must have been different other conversations that made them feel that
Yeah.
way.
So for the security part, I wouldn't say it was racially charged. And the reason why I'm going to explain is because the rule, if you remember when they were in Canada for a while, that there was, I don't know if you watched on TV or in the press, that people in Canada were like, who is going to pay for their
Who's going to pay
security?
for
They are
security?
not working for the Queen. They are here by themselves.
Mhm.
Canada should not cover their
Was
bills.
that when
Should
they
not cover
moved? When they
when they
moved?
moved, because people felt like they were going to be here permanently. And
Mhm.
now from the interview, now I realize why they moved to Canada, because they felt they could be working from afar to support the Queen. Because
Yeah, being a
Canada is a
Commonwealth
Commonwealth
country.
country. Yeah, so they felt like while they're here, they'll still be working afar, like representing the Queen, maybe in some Commonwealth events happening here in Canada. So,
Mhm.
but I guess that the family wasn't interested.
Yeah, and
Is
that's
that
why
you're in
Harry said.
England
Mhm. Harry said
or you're not?
they
Uh,
thought they weren't going to leave. They wanted to step back, but still support. But then they weren't having that. They weren't having that. They were
no,
like,
they
it's
didn't.
either
Yeah,
you're here,
so like,
and that's why he was surprised that they cut his security detail, because he thought even though they've left, since he was born into the royal home, it's his birthright. But they said no, it's taxpayers' money. We can't keep giving
yes,
you.
even in
So
England, they were like, you know what the press were saying? Some of the papers were saying who is paying for their long. They called it vacation. That why should the British taxpayers' money be used to fund their vacation, or they went in exile? That why, since they are no longer working for the country or for the monarch, they shouldn't be getting free security or any bonuses or anything. There was a lot of arguments on that. So, and till
okay.
today, I'm still wondering, because I don't understand. If anything happened to Harry, let's say security wise, would they say like,
Yeah, because
would they
I
just sit down
understand.
and watch? Because why would you to now think it was a private person that provided security for them while they were leaving Canada to the US,
Yeah.
and
So
while
I
they were
think
in the US for
Latoya has a question, but I don't know what the
oh okay, I think
question
she said
is.
she has a point. I maybe you can invite her. Let's
Yeah,
to hear
so
what
I'm
yeah,
trying to see how
yeah.
to invite her since I don't have. Do you? How do I send her the link?
Okay,
So
the
there's
link,
actually, before I go to her, there's
yeah.
something that I already sent a link to Tech with Bumi. I think she also had something that she wanted to add. So if Bumi can just sign into the waiting area, and then I will find a way to send the link to um, Latoya, but I don't actually know how to do that.
I'm thinking the same link
Private. Okay.
should work as well. Yeah, if it's StreamYard,
Yeah.
it
If
should work.
do do you have a I know I have the invite link, but I don't know how to invite,
Okay,
like, because I don't have a number
maybe.
anything, because I sent it to you via.
Okay, okay. So I can send that same one
Yeah.
into
Okay.
our inbox
You
on
have a
Instagram.
number, then you can
Yeah.
send.
So
Okay.
yeah, so
Whimsy
I can
Lifestyle, if you
send
can
one.
also come. into the, if you can also log
So
in.
yeah, so if Latoya is listening, yeah, I'm sending you the invite right now on your Instagram inbox. Yeah, because I remember she made some comments. We the royal, we have like when you see the royal, we call royal watchers. Let me use that word. Like we follow the family like day to day. I know that I watched a lot of Princess Diana's documentaries um while I'm on break, maybe during vacation as well.
Because the thing is, before they even started being working royals or whatever, they must have had those security. So that's why people are concerned. Like immediately they left, they weren't saying we're living permanently. A lot of times they go abroad to work anyway. Even the queen, before she became the queen, would go abroad. As you
Yeah,
said, she was in Kenya where when her dad passed away.
representing the
So
monarchy, they do a lot of tours. I
yeah,
know
even the barest
Harry and
minimum.
Meghan traveled to Australia,
Mhm.
they touched some Commonwealth countries. They went to South Africa working on behalf of the monarch,
So
and
they
there was
should still
security.
be able, they should, because according to him, they cut him off even financially since the
Yes,
first
that's
quarter.
another thing.
Everything was cut off. He
So
said the only thing they were able to
there's a
use.
debate. There was a debate on LinkedIn
Mhm.
that I stumbled upon, and they made a post about generational wealth, and Ari's situation was used as an example because right now he's living off the trust fund the mom set up for
The
him.
mom sent
So they were like they were talking about generation wealth. That what are you leaving for your kids? Like for example, look at Prince Harry now. He's been cut off from the royal
yeah. So it kind
treasury.
of looks like it's a punishment rather than whatever they're saying. Oh, it's the taxpayers' money. But my point is, they are royals. He has worked with the royals all his life. So right now, you taking away that cutting him off based on the fact that they're no longer working royals doesn't make sense to me. Because now knowing that everybody, the entire world knows they don't have security, anything could happen to them. What happened to his mother could happen to them. So they should be able to care about that, even if it's the barest minimum of security. Or give them, okay, we're giving you up to this time to provide yourself security, then we'll withdraw. Even if you're working with the government, as a normal person, you should get some retirement funds, right? You should get some pension. So why is he not getting anything at all? So I feel like even if it's not racially charged, I feel like it's some type of punishment that, oh, you think you can just put us to shame and give you this woman? We're going to show you what we're made of. I guess that's
Okay, yeah.
Does it look beautiful?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And it's so sad because Ari did not I don't think he went to the uni like his brother. He went into the military. So he's even a retired military personnel. So I was wondering, don't veterans get bonuses or
yeah,
pension? Yeah, because he served in the military. He went to
yeah.
Afghanistan. He was at the war front.
He
So,
might have
but
profited
the
all of that, being that
just
he's
because
getting
of his
money from
royal
the,
status. Yes,
yeah.
we don't know what's going on behind the scene. But all in
So
all,
Latoya
I'm
has come
very
in.
grateful. Oh, is she
I'm
in?
just going to
Yeah.
add
So
her
I'm
to the
very
queue now.
grateful. Hi,
Hi.
Princess Diana.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Really
Hi.
great conversation. I wanted to just say a quick point on the succession law
Mm-hmm.
from the
Yeah.
interview. What I found really important to not skip over was that Meghan was alluding to the fact that they wanted to actually change the royal succession law, where if Prince Charles came into power, just so that Archie would not have the title. They wanted to change a law that has been in effect for
Oh,
over hundreds of
okay. That
years.
explains it.
That's to show you how crazy. And what I hoped was for Oprah to go back and stay on that. Do you know how crazy it is to change? Like, in every Cinderella movie, in every royal movie, it is the law that anyone coming from the bloodline of someone who's royal as a
Mm-hmm.
king will be able to come on the throne. And for them to want to change that just because Archie could possibly get a title once Prince Charles becomes king is madness. That's how racist racist to the point you want to change something hundreds of years. That's sick. And I don't know why Oprah passed over that. That is the only thing I kept thinking about. That's sick. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much for the input, Latoya.
Can you just imagine? You know, I didn't really even pay attention to that side. All I knew was they wanted to
consistent law.
All I knew was, why was Meghan not put in the know about that law that talks about the ascension to the throne? That it's only when Prince Charles gets to be the king that Harry gets the title, because then he'll be the grand son of a reigning monarch. So the law has always been there, and to think they wanted to change that law. And you know, when Archie was born, the way the press framed it, because they announced that the parents were declining Archie to get a title. And I was like, why would the parents decide such a thing on a child that maybe when he grows up and he sees his cousins being addressed as His Royal Highness, and he'll be wondering, why am I not being called His Royal Highness? Is my dad is a prince? My grandfather is a king.
Because this is the first black person.
Another press war will start with the kids. They'll start comparing them. One has a title, one doesn't have a title. Then Harry will now be Archie will be pushed to the back just because he doesn't have a royal title.
Yeah. So I don't understand that, because especially knowing that the entire world is watching. The entire world is watching. This is the first black person to come into the royal house, and they're going to be having this child that is not even going to be. Have you seen him? It's whiter than white, like his skin tone.
Oh my God! Of course, the only thing that will be different about that boy will be the color of his eyes, which will probably be dark, because
there's so many other people that there's so many mixed race people that have green eyes, blue eyes, even black people that have and there's so many other white people that are fully white as well that have dark eye color as well. So that shouldn't be a criteria to determine who gets a crown or who gets a title. It's so I can understand where all of that is coming from, thinking, why are you singling out my child to say all of this? And now, from what Latoya said, they're trying to change the law. I didn't even hear that part. They're trying to change the law so that he doesn't get a title.
He doesn't get a title.
This is someone that has the royal blood in him.
Yes, a boy, because they can't change the fact that he's the grandson of a future monarch in waiting.
Okay.
They can't change that fact. So, but for the boy, because I'm just wondering when this boy grows up, this is what is going to be read. Because the interview blew up. So they already even set up precedents. This boy already, as young as he is, press mentioned, because there were some tabloids I saw when I went into Shoppers. Archie's skin tone, war of the Windsors. Archie Mountbatten, that boy has now started making headline as young as he is. But I'm very glad Harry and Meghan took that step. You know why? I give that boy in the next 5 years or 6 years, when he has started school and they started going out for events, they'll start comparing him with his cousins.
Because he has seen life from another different angle.
Yes.
And with this people,
there'll be another press war. They'll now start going about the clothing they are wearing.
It's so excited.
I fear for, and I'm glad, because now I don't know for how long they will be in the US. Maybe I think the way they are saying it, they will be there permanently. They bought a house. They started a TV media company. And Harry was like, I have
going back at this point.
What?
Because it doesn't make sense going back to the UK at this point, because they are going to
don't even, except they want to just trigger another mental crisis. But my only fear is, they have so many families there. Let's say, for example, God forbid, they need to go for a major event. So when Prince Charles ascends to the throne, Harry has to go for his father's what they call it? Is this swearing in on? Oh, they usually call. I've forgotten the name. It's been a long time since I watched The Crown. So he has to go. If something happens to the Queen, his grandfather presently is 99 years old. He just had that surgery. They said he's in frail health. So will they stay back in the US and not show up if they have major family events. So that I'm not sure, because
Yeah,
no matter what,
he's been going to the UK. He even said that the last time he went there, coronation.
the
With Harry.
coronation, yeah, someone else here. Oh my
I was
God,
trying to think about it as well. Because I remember there's a show
I
in the
know
UK,
that's why in
coronation
presidents
street or something.
they coronate the royals. Yeah, the
Yeah.
coronation.
So
So
he's been
I
going
know
back.
another painful thing is when he said his dad is not picking his
His
call, his
calls.
brother, they are spaced out. Harry and William were one of the most, let's say, the closest siblings. They, all their lives has been in public. Even if you go on YouTube today, you will see the video of when Prince Charles was born. That is how good, like how far back these people's records are online. I know after their mom died, they were always together. They were both each other's best man. It's just to show you how close. I'm pretty sure they were best of friends before all this issue happened. And another thing I read was that maybe they said William warned him that, are you really sure you want to marry this person? I know when I say Meghan's Hollywood background, because during their wedding, our Hollywood background came to play, because you saw the guests, the people that came from Meghan's side.
Even
So we
the
had the
pastor,
royal family one
not their
side,
own pastor,
we
the
had
black pastor.
Oprah, Bianca Chopper,
Yeah.
name it, all the A-list Hollywood people were on the other side. And it's never happened before for Hollywood royalty to be in the same church with British royalty.
But they can't expect things to remain the same forever. Think everything around the world is changing. Why are they trying to be stuck? The only constant thing in life is change. So you can't expect that to continue forever, especially in this day and age of social media and internet and all that. Things would change. So at least, even though they've left the royal family, one thing we'll always remember is Black went into the royal family, and we were able to bring a Black preacher. We were able to bring other people that would not have been invited into that. So it will always be in history as a step forward. So that we should be grateful for.
And when it was announced that it was Meghan that Harry was going to get married to, the excitement, they're like, oh my God, this family that has been in existence since 1801, Nabi 101. Sometimes I'm like, they can trace them, their family far back. I'm like, oh my God, this is history in the making. History in the making, that we're going to have a member of a royal family who is mixed race, that the generation, because Archie's descendants would always have a mixed race a blood in. So I was very excited, but I feared for her. Like we still had a discussion this afternoon, my sister and I, because we steadily Diana's. Oh my God, you think we were detectives? We all the documentaries we could. I remember when my sister was pregnant. Then once she's like, "I'm tired. Yeah, let's watch Princess Diana's documentary. You feel all right." We watched, we checked, we followed their history because we're very curious. I can remember when we went to Buckingham Palace, we're even saying, is the Queen going to show? We're looking at the roof. I was like, look at this castle. How many years old? It's still standing. They preserved their history. This family was rooted in history. I was like, Meghan coming into this family, number one, she's going side. You see all this, I was telling someone that all this UN program she was doing, her voice, she was doing a lot of women empowerment programs, mental health. I'm like, oh my God, this is the end of freedom. Once you enter the royal family, say bye-bye to freedom. You can only make statements.
About,
yes, you can only make statements when the Buckingham press corps has approved.
Yeah, Oprah said something about what she told her, that she had said somebody in the royal household had said it would be better for her to be 50% less of herself. So in other words, they're saying, you've been independent and all of that, and all those women empowerment and all those things that you've been doing, you have to shed it now that they're here. You have to bring yourself to the level that we want you to be at. And that's really crazy. And I feel like even though she's American and she's a divorcee, do you think she would suffer exactly the same or less if she was white, pure white, but from America? Do you think she will suffer the same way?
There would
Because they were
be.
making a big deal about her being American. They never said anything about her being black, but they said American. But I feel like if she was white American, it would be still a lot of
No, it's still. I think it's still gonna be the same. Like I said, America and the royal family, they've never had it good because of what the abdication crisis. So there's this belief that whenever an American enters the family, there's trouble, simply because of what happened to the Queen's uncle. There's even a documentary on YouTube that is comparing Harry with that man. The steps, what the man did, that he denounced the throne just because he wanted to marry an American divorcee. So they're now saying Harry too has denounced his duties just because he wanted to go live in America with his American wife.
At this point, they'll stop the royal from going to America,
yes.
so they don't bring wives from there.
They're saying history repeated itself. And that's the issue ongoing right now. They are not even talking about the fact that what happened in 1930 or something, that things were quite different because the laws then were quite rigid. But now they are comparing both. Harry's issue is being treated as a crisis. They're not even talking about what the couple suffered, the mental health, all the backlash that came. Yeah. They're not even looking at the press, the bad press. Yes, the bad press they got. Meghan never had the chance. Once they got to know about the engagement, the first thing they did was to launch an investigation into her past. Some press were even going to where her ex-husband was working, asking him to make comments about their relationship, their marriage, how Meghan, what was Meghan like in the marriage, what led to the divorce. They went all out.
Yeah,
and that's the problem I had, that Meghan was saying
that
you didn't Google who. She can't say she didn't Google Harry.
Yeah,
I beg to
differ. That I
felt
strange about too, because even people I Google them.
You don't know who.
People I don't know, I Googled them. Talk more of, especially it wasn't in the 16th century. It was like 2-3 years ago. Yeah,
and you could see Oprah's reaction as well when she said you felt that you'd be like, when she was saying, I thought Harry was they were going to protect me. Like yeah. She was saying, no, I already sacrificed my life for this family. I'd already decided this is going to be a forever thing, that we're going to continue the throne, like we'll be working for the throne. So it was that part. Till today, I'm still in shock because I can't. This is the most before you think, there are other royal families in Europe. Who hears about them? These are the people that make the news. There are royal families in Sweden, in Norway, all the Scandinavian countries that still have part of their the royal families intact. But you don't hear about them in the news.
Latoya has a question. She said, talk about how the Crown was able to rectify the English tabloids when they reported lies about Kate. They reported that Kate had Botox and the palace intervened. They intervened over Botox, but not a thing over Harry, right? And that's the truth. And she had said something about when she was talking to Oprah. She said, when she was asking her dad if he had talked to the tabloids, and he kept saying no. And she spoke to her dad and said, maybe they would be able to intervene. The institution would be able to intervene if you tell us the truth. But remember that if we use that now, we might not be able to use it to protect our kids later down the line. So she's already thinking she has only one shot. So if I use it now, I'll be able to use it later. It's really crazy. Maryam, are you still there? Hi, Maryam. I think we lost her. Oh, I think we lost her. So I'm just going into a message to see what's going on. Yeah, Maryam is frozen. I know. I'm trying to see what's going on as well. Okay, so what do you guys think? If anybody wants to join into the conversation, maybe I'll just leave copy and paste the invite here, and I can let me see, because truth be told, I don't really know how to pin this thing, so I'm just going to copy and paste here. So if you want to give your 2 cents about what you think. So it really bothers me, and the fact that there was a time that he said after they left, he came back to the UK, and at that point he had already thought he was going to meet up with the Queen. Well, as soon as he touched down, he got a message. Hi, Latoya.
I'll jump on until Maryam comes.
Thank you. So she was. I was talking about when Harry said something about when he came to the UK, and he had already had a chat with his grandmother. He was going to show up, but then immediately he got an email saying, "Well, the Queen is going to be busy all week."
Oh my
And
God.
he said he picked up his phone and he called his grandma, like, "What's going on? I was going to come visit, and I was told by your publicist, or I don't know, assistant or something, that you're going to be busy all week." And then she said, yeah, I'm going to be busy. I didn't know I had something, and I'm going to be busy all week. That's like ridiculous, because she might have thought, well, I'm going to see my grandson, but then the institution said, that's not the best thing to do right now. Remember, he abandoned his duty and all of that.
Yeah.
So everything, we can't actually say what is racism, what's not racism. We only go by what we hear, right? So what are your thoughts on this entire situation?
Oh my gosh. But I keep, sometimes when they say institution or the firm, you're sort of conflicted a bit or confused, I think it was my husband that was saying one time that do you really think that the Queen is in charge right now because of her age? And we have to really wonder, is the Queen really in charge, or is she just like the figure in the front?
I think
Who is
so.
really pulling the strings behind? Is Charles already in power, and that is who they're referring to, the institution, the firm? Because some of the things that they've been discussing, it can only take effect if Charles or the Queen say that it's so, because he's next in line. All of this name and titles, it's only them who decides. Didn't the Queen allow William's daughter to be able to come into power? Didn't she
I
do
know.
something like that in the media? So they're very powerful. If they wanted to give Archie a title, they could.
I know, right? Because that's what Oprah said. Oprah said, isn't she the Queen? And doesn't the Queen get to do what the Queen wants to do? And I felt that statement was really powerful, because
Right?
at the end of the day, if you say this is the law, what will anybody do? All you have to do is pass a decree or something and say, okay, now we're changing. They take it to the parliament and they'll debate over it. But that's
Exactly.
that's why everybody keeps thinking this is systemic racism. It's not racism like, oh, you're black and all of that. It's like all the things that they do systematically that to other people that are not actually suffering that, they can't actually see it.
Exactly.
I think Miriam is trying to join back, but you have to connect your mic and your video, because it keeps saying device is not connected. So you might have to do that again. She's trying to join back.
It's pretty crazy. Even the thought that her half sister went and changed her name back to Marco.
I know, I heard that one too. I was like, what? She said this lady, and then she wrote a book, I think Tell All about Meghan or something. And Meghan said, how can she write something about me that doesn't even know me? That she grew up as an only child, and that she only changed her name back to Marco as soon as just when she started dating Harry. So it's like, it's all clout chasing.
She is so disgusted, and that woman has no shame. She's like, I don't care what it is. Today, tomorrow, I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna get
It's crazy.
and that's it.
It's crazy. So,
It's
and one thing that struck me was at the beginning when that was released, they said the Queen was not going to watch. That she said she was not going to watch, and that they had said the royals, they never give statement in such a situation. So everybody was wondering, are they going to give a statement or not? I was one of the people that said they're not going to give a statement. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking, in this
Yeah.
situation, this is like a really big deal. It's a really big
Mm-hmm.
that you have to like racism since last year has gone like out, like it's a really huge thing since the killing of George Floyd. So you can't just keep quiet because you're going to lose support from a lot of countries, especially Black countries or Commonwealth countries, because then
Exactly.
they're trying to say that everything we fought for, slavery and all of that, that you're not going to give a statement. And then 24
Mm-hmm.
hours, less than 24 hours, they give a statement. But what do you think about that statement? Because to me, I felt like it didn't make sense. I was like, okay, you want a statement, we're giving you a statement. Nothing
She
much.
had they
Because they're like, we're
they
going to
had
deal with it privately. No, we don't want you to deal with it privately because whatever transpired was private. We want you to deal with it publicly so that we can trust you again, so to
exactly.
speak.
But how is it now all of a sudden everybody can stand up to the media? They could give a statement. William could outwardly say we are not racist. They
Hmm.
can now speak in public on things, but before they couldn't even utter that is not true. Kate never made Meghan cry. That never
Hmm.
happened. They never uttered these things. But now it's okay to utter these things.
I know.
And all of this is falling out. And I tell you, I've been having the best time watching Pierce Morgan.
Yes, Morgan.
Everything happening with this crazy man debating on this topic because even it came over to the talk show in the US with Sharon Osbourne I was watching yesterday, um
Hmm.
how she, basically tried to rip apart that black co-host for just kind of calmly speaking to her. And it's these kind of things that happen in the quiet or behind closed doors, the subtle racism, the subtle, like, you can't talk about this. You're crazy. You're being an angry black woman. You're making things up. The subtle things that they keep doing that's irritated. So,
Yeah.
the queen and all of this nonsense. I mean, I was saying earlier that Harry has always been different in the fact that nobody who knows how the queen maintains power and got power, if you have a good heart, you will be uncomfortable with the power that England has. Because all of my countries, I'm from the Caribbean, and a lot of African countries, India, a lot of these countries were raped, pillaged, taken away their wealth, their identity because of England. And England is still holding power over these countries. So I believe Harry has always been uncomfortable with the crown, always uncomfortable, just like Diana was, with the things, the reason why they have power. It's blood on the crown. So it's not, to me, it's not surprising that he left all of that. Who would want that on their mind, on their conscience?
That's what he said. He said he has always felt trapped. He has always
Right?
felt trapped, but that it took Meghan coming into the picture for him to see the light and a way to escape. And he said he
Mm-hmm.
knows that he's not the only one that is trapped. His dad is trapped and his brother is trapped, but they've made peace with it. That's what he
Can you?
said. He said that they've made peace with it, but he can't make peace with it. He just had to leave. Because people were
My
saying,
God.
oh, Meghan made him leave. It's like, no, I felt trapped all this while.
Mm-hmm,
All this
mm-hmm.
while. So yeah.
I'm gonna leave now. Miriam is
All
back.
right. Thank you so much,
No,
Latoya.
Bye.
I know I was really enjoying what she was saying. So yes, I'm just going to go back on the last statement about being trapped. Like
Mhm,
I said, I said earlier that Ari is not a typical royal. It's
mhm,
very free. Like when Ari travels to do all these royal jobs on behalf of the queen, anywhere he goes, it reminds the the statement is like it reminds them of their mom, of his mom. When you go into the press, when you check all those press coverage for Ari when he was representing the queen, I was this Commonwealth tour he did. The same statement kept cropping. Ari reminded them so much of Princess Diana. He's warm, he's different. They compared him with his brother. The brother is stiff. I know he has nothing to lose. He's not in direct succession to the throne. I know when you say his brother and his dad are trapped, they are waiting. I'm pretty sure they want to be the king.
I
Prince
know.
Charles is aspiring to be the king. William also wants to be the king. So they're trying to make history, because if anything happens, history will be they have to rewrite history. So if someone abdicates, say for example, I don't pray it happens, because it's going to disrupt the world economy too. Ooh, everybody's going to get impacted.
Yeah.
Because England, they are, at least with America, they are one of the most powerful countries. So it would impact a lot of things. So let's say, for example, they also want to abdicate. There's going to be issue, because then they'll now be looking at who is in line to the throne. They'll now start counting first in line, second in line. So yes, when he says they're trapped, he knows what he's saying. All their life, they've been raised to think, to act. Everything they do, from the way they walk, everything has to be in line with what the monarchy wants. So I can't imagine. So sincerely, I really applaud him. It takes a very strong man to come out. That interview, I don't know how they did it. I don't know whether they had practiced before coming on board. It was one of the most sincere and open interviews after Diana's interview with Panorama. The last time such an interview, because they did, and like they compared what happened in history. So the last time we had such an open, sincere interview was the one Diana did with Panorama, one of these journalists. Like that was at that interview, she said they don't want her to be the queen. She can't be the queen. That she prefers to be the princess of people's hearts. That the powers may be don't want her to be the queen. I know when she was saying that we are 3 in the marriage. Already everybody knew what she was talking about. So for Harry to come out to support the wife, and you know the way Meghan was talking, that how come she wasn't protected? Somebody else was involved in a scandal, and and the person was protected. I know who she was referring to. She was referring to Princess Andrew's scandal with John Epstein's
I know,
kidnapping child. Yeah, which, can you see how that thing has they've
I think now,
like,
they finally let him be. Like, okay, we can't help you anymore, because it's becoming like a
as
really, really
he
huge.
can't go to the US because there's a case to answer. They're still trying to, like, there's still once in a while they still say, oh, he's inconclusive, he has a case to answer, he needs to come say his own side. But just look at how the press machinery there just silenced everything. So and another thing is, I feel Kate is getting good press. I'm thinking just because she's the future wife of a monarch, they're trying to build an history for her. So they don't care if Meghan falls down. So there has to be a sacrificial lamb. So, and I think Meghan is a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, she was the easy target. She was the easy one. Like, okay,
yeah,
everybody.
She already yes, she has the past for them to dwell on. Imagine if she was not a divorcee, she was not an American, they will definitely find something.
Yeah, they'll find at that point, because now they're trying to say, okay, it's not because she's black, it's because of all of these other things. But if she was like an 18-year-old virgin when she got married and all of that, they would still say she was black.
They would still say something. Wasn't Diana was a virgin and she was that young? Didn't they call her naive? They gave her name now. They called her Princess Dreamy. That she wanted fairy tale. That she didn't know what she was getting herself into. They mocked Diana as well. They said she didn't. I know Diana openly said, "Oh, I didn't go to school. I'm not book smart, but I know what it means to operate in public." Even if she wasn't given any training, Diana trained herself. There was one of her documentary, I was just crying. I was just like, all in the name of because you wanted to marry a prince. Like, all existence as soul was, they wrecked her emotionally. And I know mental health was not really a big thing then in the 90s. I can't imagine what she would have went through. I would encourage you to watch the one Netflix just released. I think was part of her history. She had an affair with a heart surgeon while she was going through the separation thing before they finally got divorced. This woman went through hell. I know Harry has come of age. He would have watched so many things about his mom, read so many things. And so he would definitely be trying to guide himself and protect his family. I don't see,
because at the end of the day, they will always be there for you. And
I
with
yes,
being in the
family
royal
is
family,
key.
they have to
Yes,
put beauty first. So she now stepping out of that, being by himself, whereas he's not even in line to the throne anyway. So stepping out of that is able to protect his family, is able to put his family first. Like he was talking about how he's looking forward to Archie being able to ride his bike, things that he wasn't able to do growing up. Because you can, as a royal, you can't just be riding bikes all over the place
no,
and making friends
they'll
and all of
they'll
that.
be riding
So
it in the palace, not
I
in
know
like in public.
with
Look at
flags
them.
all
You know, they
around.
show the picture of them going to the beach. They are doing things normal people do freely.
Do yeah, and
And
they
the
they have
most
like this
important thing
multi-million-dollar house
is
where
that
it's
yes,
nature all around and all of that. And they're not taking paparazzi and things lightly. They're willing to sue as many as people that come to invade their privacy.
thank you. Which is the best way to go. If they don't do that, those people will still pretty sure some of them are still hanging around somewhere close in
Hanging
their house
around.
to get pictures or to get footages of what they are doing. And I really encourage I really must commend them for going all out against those, because those people could be merciless, actless when they cover them and run on true stories.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing is I'm glad that boy will not grow up in the face of the British press where they will be comparing him. Now they've talked about skin tone. Imagine what could happen in the next 1, 2, or 3 years if that boy, when they begin kindergarten, there's always a press thing too.
Of
When the
what they wear
children of the royal
first,
family, when they go to school,
first
they
day, what
cover
they
them.
wear to school. Mm-hmm.
What they wear. They will now start making comparison, as the way they were making comparison between Kate and Meghan, how they dress, how they cradle their bomb. The next thing Archie will be in the news. They'll be pitching him against his cousins. And is this what this boy, somebody that he didn't ask for it? Did he ask to be born into a royal family? He didn't ask for it. Just like his father did not ask for it. So I commend Prince Harry for taking that bold step to protect his family, so that boy is not going to grow and the British press will start comparing him, because whatever the British press, whatever they put out, other press, other newspapers, tabloids of other countries, they rely on those news, true or fake. They will publish something because they need to market their brand.
They also want to sell. They want to sell the magazines. So whatever they say, they just publish anyway. Yeah,
It's
it's
it's it's it's, it's,
crazy.
it's sad.
But
It's
so
it's extremely sad.
at the end of the day, I don't understand why people, after seeing all of that and seeing like the trajectory, the timeline and everything, because before now, we don't know what happened. We just know they left and we're like, what happened? Everybody
What
had
was
that,
happening?
yeah, what happened? So now they're shedding the light on it. It makes perfect sense. So I don't still understand why people do not believe it. And that's, to me, still is some kind of white fragility where people are still thinking whatever you say doesn't count. Lifting the monarchy as, oh, the monarchy is like 100% and they cannot ever
do any wrong.
yeah, do any wrong. So because of that, you're just making sure that whatever this lady says, you just don't believe it, whatever comes out of her mouth. And I'm so, even though I believe that everybody has their rights to whatever their opinion is, but I feel so taken aback and sad when I see other Black people bringing her down, saying she's lying and she's a narcissist and she's just trying to get attention and all of that. For crying out loud, this lady's pregnant. Do you think the thing on her mind is to put herself through that stress? Because I'm sure she knows that a lot of backlash will come from there. But her taking that bold step and her husband actually backing her up, it should say something to people. But I don't know. I don't understand why people are still going at her at this point, even with everything she has said. So at this point, even if she brings Jesus Christ to come
Into
speak
it.
for her, they will
No.
still say she's
And
lying.
that is how people like Piers Morgan can come on TV and spill rubbish, because they have some diehard fanatics.
Yeah.
They can't, no matter what, the royal family can do no wrong in their eyes. They would support till their last breath. But the world is changing. We've had a Black president in the US. It can't continue like this. And
Yeah.
like I said,
It's funny because
I am very pleased Harry took this bold step. Who knows who else is going to take another bold step? Like, there's still more to come.
Maybe they're opening the floodgates now for others to follow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it's
Yeah.
it's crazy how people can be so much of a fanatic. And I'm sorry to compare Donald Trump and what's happening right now. With Donald Trump
Hmm.
too, no matter what he does, no matter how racist he still cannot do any wrong in the sight of some people. And that's why he
Oh.
became the president in the first place and almost became had a second term. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So some people are
And
just
I
fanatics
guess
no matter what you do.
yes, because and that is the result of what we're saying today. Because Harry was like, you know what, this can't continue any longer. We need to leave. Because if he did not leave, maybe Meghan would have told him, "I'm leaving. Is if this is what you want, I'm taking my child with me. Is it that you come with us, or we go our separate ways?" I'm not saying she would have said that, but I'm saying it
Mhm.
might get to that stage. Because if your mental health is at stake and you're in an environment whereby every day it's negative press, and the institution that you serve, they work on behalf of the monarchy. The institution you serve is not doing anything to protect you. Why stay? So I really,
And
really feel for them.
talking about mental health, people said, okay, even she was suffering from some kind of mental health problems, that she definitely wasn't suicidal. And I'm wondering, how do you know who is suicidal or not? Remember, rest is so, I forgot the name of this very funny guy that was in Jumanji.
Oh, that is it.
That,
Mike, no, that committed suicide.
that committed
It
suicide.
was,
Nobody saw it
yeah,
coming.
this popular
People said it was
actor.
so
Yeah.
funny and all of that. Yeah. So you don't know what people are going through. So just because they smile and they come out and they do all of that doesn't mean that you don't know what's
They're
happening
strong.
to
And
them.
there's a saying that check on the ones that are the strongest, that don't show any emotion, that they make you feel like everything is all right. They are the ones going through a lot. The ones that act strong are the ones going through a lot.
Yeah. I was
So
watching the
nobody has the
documentary.
right to debunk someone's mental health state. No one has a right to. No one is an expert on mental health. Even the experts on mental health cannot conclusive. Sorry, what word will I use? Be conclusive on
Mhm.
someone's because it's today you're fine, tomorrow it could be the other way around. So no one has a right to judge and say she wasn't suicidal. Were you going through what she was going through?
Mhm.
You're not in you say don't judge if you don't walk in the same shoes. You're not the one married to the royal family.
Yeah,
You're not
and
the one going
the
through
thing is, when
emotional
she was
crisis.
going through that, she was pregnant. So pregnancy in itself, even without going through any of those things, could bring those. I've seen people that when they're pregnant, they go into depression. They go into all kinds of prenatal and
Because
postnatal depression. So that
the
alone
hormones
can
are
bring
usually quite.
depression.
It's
Talk more
tough,
of
very tough.
adding all of
Larry
the
was
things.
talking about there was a point she was breastfeeding, she was crying. Having a baby should be a moment of joy, but look at what she went through. So it's no, it's a very, very terrible experience. I'm glad they're
Mm,
out. I'm
yeah.
glad they're living a free life. I can't wait to see what their production company will be. I know they said they have a partnership with Netflix coming up. I know there's also this backlash saying they're using their royal connection to get endorsements and deals with
Mhm.
production companies.
But they are
I'm like,
royals.
it can't be. They're royals. They will always be royals, whether they
Even if
have the
they
title or not.
keep their position wherever they go, that thing will be lingering. Everybody still knows they're royals. So people wouldn't turn them
So
down, except if it has like some, maybe the royal family actually say you have to turn them down.
I know,
It's
I'm
still
very sure
business
they
like
will have lawyers working with them. So they won't churn out content that would speak ill of the royal family.
that. Mhm.
And most of the partnership they said they are working on are more of content that would help all the organizations they are attached to, mental health. So they're going to be churning out impactful content.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She's gone again. So so that's the truth. I am with all of this going on, I'm so happy that they actually were able to exit that life. But the thing thing is, for how long, and also would they be able to keep up like their security, especially for their children? Now, I'm so excited for her that she's having a little one and a girl this time. According to Harry, was so happy. He was like, "Oh, my family is now complete. I have a girl, I have a boy, and I also have my 2 dogs," which is like a man that is happy with the decision that he has made. Because staying back home at the end of the day, what good has it been for them in the past year or two that they've been there, right? So I'm so excited that they left, but I'm also concerned for them. And as Latoya was saying, she said that there have been death threats on her life, and supposed to be. And the truth is, she won't be happy, right? So there are death threats, and if you know what, we all know what happened to Princess Diana. It was the tabloids that chased her until her death. And there's some people saying it could have been planned. We don't know what happened, but it's all it, maybe. But I don't know. One way or the other, systemic racism, I feel like everybody should have a say in it. Everybody should be able to raise it, even either you're black or not. We should not just shut down people when they're bringing their complaints forward. Just give them a listening ear. Let them listen to them and then investigate. At least you owe them that much. And somebody from that kind of, she's had integrity. Forget about being divorced or not. Being a divorcee doesn't affect your integrity. That was maybe in the 18th century or in the 17th century, where people think less of you if you're divorced. Nowadays, a lot of things could lead to you divorcing. I feel like I give people respect if they're in a troubling relationship, or if they're in an abusive relationship and they take the bold step to leave. Talk more of, so it's a whole lot to think about. I think Maryam is still trying to get back in, but the same issue from before. If you could turn on your mic and your video, I'll be able to let you in. Right now it says device is not connected. So we'll just be talking like a little bit more, and then after that I will have to request everybody to go to bed, because it's Monday tomorrow, and I guess some people are working tomorrow morning. But what do you think? While we're waiting for you, I'm just going to use this opportunity to tell you that next week, we're already in the new week. On Saturday, I'm going to be having a speaker on mental health, like how to boost your mental health. So it's going to be at 12 p.m. on Saturday. So if you could all, I'll put the flyer out probably tomorrow morning. So if you could all come back and support me, and also learn a thing or two, because in this pandemic, a lot of people are actually suffering from mental health. So people are even suffering from mental health, but don't know it's actually, that's what it's called. Because to some people, especially those of us that are African or from Nigeria or blacks, a lot of people don't believe in that. They believe it must be spiritual problems, or it must be, you must actually be crazy, like weary kind of situation for them to think it's mental health problems. So I'm going to be bringing a speaker to talk to us about that on Saturday at 12 p.m. on the 20th. So Maryam, I brought you back on.
Yeah, so I had issues with the browser, so I just want to conclude. Yeah, so yeah, it's thank you so much for having me. This is, when you put it up, I'm like, this is a topic I can't type. There's so much to be said.
Yeah.
It's quite emotional for me. Like everybody, we're trying to protect our mental health.
Yes.
No matter how rich you are or average, or everybody has a right to peaceful existence. Even if you're married to someone popular, but it's just a pity. Life happens the way it is, and it had to happen when we're celebrating blackness, like having a black member of the royal family that everybody can relate. When they got married, people were like, "Oh, I see myself in Meghan." Like the royal family now has a mix, things will get better. There'll be more representation. But sadly, look at what is happening now.
It crumbled as quickly as it started. They didn't even give us the time to celebrate. It just was back to back to back.
So
I wish them the very best. I wish them the very best.
I'm really praying for them as they start their new life in the US, praying that the press back off, because I know some of them are in the US.
Yeah.
You know, these people, they
left
have a
everyone.
budget for their staff. Pretty sure they've camped some of them in the hotels close to the area they live, looking for snippets.
Yeah, because she said with her dad, when they were trying to get her dad, somebody moved in next door to her dad. Somebody moved in across the place from her dad and started like we go to the same place where shopping and all of that, just because they want to get the information out of it. So
It's true. They have
they
a
have
budget to cover them. They would buy a house and become their neighbor if that is what it takes to get their pictures.
Yeah.
They are so desperate because it's a business for them.
Yeah.
The height of desperation is appalling. Like, I can't even imagine. But they will do it. They've done it before. They continue to do it. So nothing can stop them.
Yeah.
I'm wishing them all the best. They need time to raise that boy. They need time to protect that boy, because this thing it's not going to go away. As the boy gets older, they would want to focus attention on them. The sister also coming too. That one too, praying for her as well, because I wouldn't want a situation whereby they will now be comparing them with their cousins, because now they will be living in the US with no title. Then the ones in the England will be in the spotlights. When they have major events, they will be in the spotlights, and the press will be like, "Oh, we're wondering what Archie and the younger sister are doing in the US." They might even say, "They're not supposed to be here." So the comparisons will start. So I'm praying for strength for the
I
parents
think
to
it's
be
going to
able
be a
to
lifelong
withstand.
battle with these people.
It's a
As
lifelong
far as
battle. It's not ending anytime soon. We don't even know what is coming.
Yeah.
Some definitely, these kids forever, their lives would always be in the public.
Drama.
It's going to be in the
Especially
limelight.
now, once she give birth again, it will be them analyzing
It
this
starts all
new
over
child
again.
and what's
So you
going to
see
be.
now, they can't really even get pictures of her pregnant, except for the ones they released. Unlike when they were in England, because as she was pregnant, they will still be doing royal duties on behalf of the queen, and they'll be seeing her almost every now and then. But with this break, they're able to focus and concentrate on their family and try and live a peaceful life away from the royal scrutiny. So yeah, that's all for me.
Thank you so
much,
Maryam. We really
for
enjoyed
having
this.
me.
And I'm trying to see as many. I wanted to call out the names of people, but the chat has all gone up. But I can see Extra Step CEO. Thank you so much for attending. I can see Latoya. I know I saw Lady Rike before, and I saw Ramat, and I think Nifi Signature also came in for a brief minute. And thank you so much. If I didn't call your names because I don't know how to scroll all the way up to find the messages. Thank you so much for attending, and I hope to see you on Saturday so we can all learn about mental health, how to boost your mental health and all of that.
Very important. Important. Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people don't even know they're suffering from depression or they're suffering from something, and also how to help other people. Because before I let you go, I was watching a documentary, I think on Instagram, on one of these news outlets, and it was this guy that I think he jumped off the bridge in LA and lived to survive. And he was saying while he was going there, he went to his dad's room in the morning. His dad knew something was off at 6 a.m. and he managed to convince his dad that everything was fine, but he knows that he was going to commit suicide on the bridge, on the LA bridge. And he took the bus, but while he was going, he kept contemplating, I don't really want to die, but I know I'm going through something, but I need to be able to talk to somebody. She said when he got in the bus and he was contemplating on that, people in the bus saw him crying. He said he was crying profusely, thinking somebody would reach out to him and say, hey, lad, are you okay? But people started laughing at him like, look at that one. And that's what actually triggered him. And he said he even walked to the front of the bus, and the bus driver said, son, get off, I have to get somewhere. So he said he walked all the way back and ran as fast as he could and jumped off the bridge. And he said as he was going, he started thinking, what the heck have I done? And started praying, God save me. I don't really want to die. God save me. Imagine that. So at the end of the day, our actions to other people really matter. You don't know what people are going through. So you seeing them crying and laughing at them, that could actually be what would trigger them to commit suicide or to do what they harm themselves. And it could be just you saying, are you okay? Do you need help? Is there anything I could do? That little thing that you said might be the one that will make a huge difference. I will make them change their mind from whatever harm they were planning to commit. So it's really important, and I would like you to join us this Saturday, so we can all discuss about mental health and how we could help people suffering in mental health issues, and also checking our own self and seeing if everything is fine, and we should be able to reach out for help at some point in time. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me tonight. I really love this session, and I hope that you keep supporting. Remember to give me a huge thumbs up before you leave, and also remember to subscribe and share this link so that people can watch the video at their free time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week ahead. I love you all. Bye.